All right, man. Peace. So there was some little story about Carmelo Anthony and his so-called wife Lala Anthony getting a quote-unquote divorce. Let's see how they cover this issue in the so-called media.
The bad week just got way, way, way worse for Carmelo Anthony. He just separated from his wife. Welcome to TMZ Sports, Evan.
How do you know that it got worse for him because he separated from that female? Might have got better. Believe me, if he didn't want her to leave, she wouldn't have left.
Evan here with Babcock and Raquel.
What up?
Hey! Yeah, we've got a big show for you first off. Huge stars. Rose Namajunas is going to join us a little later on.
That white girl could fight her ass off. I saw her whoop the karate hottie. That white girl can get down.
First, we're going to start with the biggest story of the day by far. Carmelo Anthony and Lala Anthony officially separated. We broke the story on the website. Babcock, what went on here?
Yeah, this is absolutely huge news. Carmelo, Lala, huge stars, both of them married since 2010. We have spoken to sources, Evan, who have said that the couple has
Now, they've been so-called married since 2010. Carmelo Anthony is, I believe, 32? So that would put their marriage, he would have been about 25 years old, 24, 25 years old. That clearly was way, way, way too young to get involved with any type of contractual obligation. She is 5 years older than him. So what she saw was an easy mark. He got caught out there. I think she probably appealed to him on a few levels, probably on a business level. She is a very business-minded female. But that's a double-edged sword because the so-called business-minded female can also be very manipulative. You know, he was a very, very young dude. He probably just got caught out there. And beyond that, she probably appealed to him on the so-called Afro-Latino level. And I believe that their son is also around the age or a little bit older than the age or the year that they supposedly got quote-unquote married. So that probably also has something to do with it. All right. Either way, I think he kind of smartened up.
now split. It's amicable. After 7 years of marriage, they are no longer together.
Yeah.
Well, it's debatable if they were ever really together to begin with.
And this comes on the heels of Phil Jackson essentially saying Carmelo Anthony's days as a New York Knick are over.
I don't know that it was essentially. Phil Jackson gave a press conference last week and said Carmelo Anthony would be better off on another team that is not the Knicks.
And I agree with that. I have no idea why the media keeps attacking Phil Jackson over Carmelo Anthony. Like, you know, Carmelo Anthony has never won anything. He's never come close to winning anything. He's not a winning ball player. He's not an alpha on a championship level team. Now, Phil Jackson, I believe, was forced to sign Carmelo Anthony by James Dolan. I think James Dolan told him, look, Phil, we have to have a star here. This is New York. We're not going to let you build from scratch. And Phil Jackson, he succumbed to the pressure. And I think he's coming at Carmelo so hard right now because he resents what he was forced to do. I never wanted the Knicks to make that trade anyway in the first place. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I thought it was a dumb trade to begin with, especially for a guy who was coming there anyway. All right, Carmelo was going to come to the Knicks regardless. He was trying to use the Brooklyn Nets as a side piece to make the Knicks think that he could go somewhere else. He wasn't going to go to the Nets.
You have that video. Let's take a look.
The direction with our team is that he is a player that would be better off somewhere else and using his talent somewhere where he can win or chase that championship.
Yeah,
And he does want to chase a championship. I don't know why people are trying to act like Phil Jackson is being so rude to him. It's the truth. He is in championship chase mode. When you don't have a championship by your early 30s, you got to start chasing. And at the end of the day, he'd be better off somewhere else, probably with the Clippers or Cleveland or wherever, Boston or what have you. I believe that a lot of the tension in the relationship between him and Lala, whatever her name is, has to do more with that issue than the so-called sleeping around issue, because from what I understand, they've always had a so-called open relationship, quote unquote. She's always slept around and so is he. All right. There was some issue with her and the rapper Mano a couple years ago. And she's known for being an industry hoe, you know, from before she was with him. That's why Kevin Garnett said that the broad smell like Honey Nut Cheerios, man. I mean, come on, that chick been passed around like a blunt. Now, in regards to Melo been sleeping around. I mean, it is what it is. He's the one who said that Melo was quoted as saying, allegedly, she's married, I'm not. All right, so that shows you how he views her. But I believe that a source of a lot of the tension between them is that Carmelo wants to use, he wants to get traded. Now he wants to forego the no trade option in his contract, and she does not want him to be traded because she has branded their family, as a so-called celebrity family, and that's bad for business for her to have to move out of New York and follow him around. All right. I believe that she's put a lot of pressure on him to try to stay with the Knicks, and he does not want to stay with the Knicks. Right now, it's reached a breaking point and a boiling point, and he wants to leave and get a championship, and she wants to keep her little D-level acting career going.
So after that's going on with his professional life,
which
now
is kind of hurt.
And now to make things worse, of course, Lala and him separating. I mean, but this is no surprise because the couple, I'm told, have been having problems off and on for quite some time now. So,
of course, they've been having problems because she's been using him for relevance, and he never really cared for her to begin with in the first place. I believe that he just got caught up in somebody. He was young. Now he's 32. 31, 32, that's where, the man's brain starts to really expand in regards to width due to understanding and comprehension of what's going on around you. And he realizes now, he's looking at her, he's like, how'd I get stuck with this broad? And he don't really give a damn if she leave or not. That's honestly what I believe. That's my perceptions on the issue. So,
Well, everything seemed hunky-dory on social media. I mean, I know it's just social media, but they looked fine. I mean, just back in February, they posted a Valentine's Day photo together that said Happy Valentine's Day from us to you, sending lots of love and kisses and all that stuff. And now here we are, just a couple months later, and they're separated.
I think it was always a little confusing because we would hear this information that they weren't getting along with each other. Maybe there were problems in the relationship. But then we would see all these photos, and they looked as happy as could be.
Because she's packaging their family, their quote-unquote family, a certain way because she's concerned with the outside world. All right. This chick desperately wants to be famous. I mentioned this about Steph Curry's wife. All right. Everything with a lot of these chicks is about the packaging. It's not what's real. It's about what's presented to the outside world. She desperately wants to be an actress. And plus, this chick, not only does she sleep around, but she's a so-called bisexual. That's why she glorifies her lesbian cousin on that ridiculous, stupid ass show that she was on. All right. I mean, a lot of this stuff with these little chicks is nothing but madness. And I think that Carmelo is getting frustrated with a lot of her stupidity. And he's just trying to find a way out of the whole situation. With the dysfunctionality of most of these so-called high-profile relationships, they'll probably be back together anyway. She doesn't have many options. She's 37 years old. Believe me, if she could have moved on from him, she probably would have already. Most of these females don't like to be told no. The fact that she's stayed with him despite most likely constantly being told no is more indicative of the fact that she knows that, where her bread is buttered. He's a high profile basketball star. She likes to be a basketball wife, and a lot of the things that it affords her. People will come back and say that, well, she has her own money. Sure, but he gives her a lot of visibility. Let's be for real. Nobody cares about her unless she's by his side. It's just the reality of the situation. Same reason why Gabrielle Union married Dwayne Wade. She's a D-level actress. She's a 40-plus-year-old black actress, so-called black actress. She's not getting any major roles in Hollywood. Believe me, if she could get major roles in Hollywood, she would not be with Dwayne Wade. All right? I guarantee you that.
And now we hear that the relationship is over.
I think that's more so like, let's do it for the gram type of thing. Like, oh, okay, let's sit here, always show everybody that we're really happy, but...
Yeah, but let's do it for the gram that really transfers over to let's do it for my career. Because a lot of these D-level actresses, they use social media as a mechanism to keep their visibility out there. All right? Like I said, she needs Carmelo to keep her relevant. She needs him.
But really, we're really miserable inside. And that's one of the cases because, I've been following the relationship, honestly, for...
I bet you have. You've been following the relationship with a Twinkie in your hand.
Since they've been together. And since they've been together, it's been tricky from the start. So it's not like too surprising for people like myself who've been following all of their paths.
Here's where things get really complicated because now we know that Phil wants to ship him out of New York.
Right.
Lala doesn't want to go ananywhere. Lala and her son have roots in New York, right?
Well, she does. The son will follow Carmelo to the planet Venus. The son is he loves his dad.
Her son Cayenne goes to school in New York, has friends in New York, so does Lala, and they have roots there and they don't want to leave. So with Carmelo almost certainly going somewhere else, they're not going anywhere, so that's going to put an even greater stress on the relationship.
That's going to make us super stressed because he is also a daddy's boy. You know, he is one of the kids for Jordan, basically, a Jordan model. So
wait, so Cayenne, the 10-year-old, is a model for Jordan brand?
Yes, he is.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Definitely. And also, he does a lot of traveling, you know, did the ball boy before situation with his father, and always is with the stars like Jay-Z, Swiss Beats, likes to have the whole atmosphere and everything. Also Kanye West, you know, so
yeah, but
this is going to be a big thing.
Carmelo's a New York guy, though, so no matter where he plays next season, his home is still going to be in New York.
Yeah, but look, you play 82 NBA games. NBA players, if you're not from that city, if you're not playing for that city, you're not in town a lot, and it's going to separate him
but he's got resources. He's got a lot of money.
Now, he can
Nonsense. He's not flying all across the country. He's gonna be flying when he's traveling, playing basketball, like the dude in the middle box said. All right, you can't be no.
But the fact is that for like 50 nights a year, you have to be in another city that's not New York City playing basketball games. And no matter what resources you have, you cannot be with your son in New York. And that's going to be a strain.
It's going to be, no, it is. But, I mean, they're super duper rich, so they can have private jets.
Right.
And he can travel as much as possible. So it's not going to be, and he's a good father. So it's not going to be like one of those situations that, oh, he'll just be a deadbeat daddy and he'll be missing from the kid's life. He's clearly an active father and she's a loving mother. So they'll come to a situation I think will fit for both of them.
And that most likely is why they will rectify whatever situation is going on here. I think that this female Lala Anthony is throwing a tantrum right now because they probably gotten into some arguments about him wanting to leave the team, and she does not want him to leave the team because it's what's best for her career. And right now she's trying to flex her little power. She's trying to embarrass him publicly. But I think he's at the point now where he's ready to move on from the team, and either she's going to follow behind or she's going to get left behind.
By the way, so far it's just a separation. Neither one of them has filed divorce papers yet, so there's still a chance that they could reconcile. And I got to be honest with you, we've shot them a lot of times over the years together and individually. They both seem super nice. Hopefully they can figure a way to work this out.
We're rooting for you guys.
Yeah, we're rooting for you.
Well, she's going to have to figure out a way how to get her mind right. All right, so right now we're going through this Carmelo Anthony, Lala Anthony tomfoolery. Let's see what they report here.
Did Carmelo Anthony step on his wife and knock up a stripper? Well, those are the allegations, and we got all the information going down behind the scenes. Welcome to TMZ Sports. Evan here with Michael J. Babcock.
What's up, Evan?
Yesterday we broke the story that Carmelo Anthony and his wife Lala Anthony are separated after 7 years of marriage.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite couples out there. They were adorable, but it's over.
What type of silly shit is that? They're one of my favorite couples. Sound like some shit you hear females say. Always worrying about somebody else. Always worrying about some other couple. They're one of my favorite couples. Black love is the best. The hell out of here. And you see Carmelo got the shirt for the Baphomet on. That little italicized or that's part of me. That stylized logo on his shirt is for the so-called Baphomet. All right, similar to the Beyonce Sasha Fierce.
It's over for them.
Yeah, and it's been a bad week for Carmelo Anthony, too, because after Phil Jackson, he went publicly and said Carmelo's going to be better off somewhere else. So he's probably going to leave the New York Knicks, and now his marriage is over. And now allegations from a woman who is a dancer at a popular gentleman's club in New York City claims that she is 6.5 months pregnant with a child, and the father is Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, there's a woman, Evan, she dances not at a strip club, a gentleman's club, a nice place in New York City, but yeah, she is claiming that she had a sexual relationship with Carmelo Anthony, and she is saying that she is 6.5 months pregnant with his baby, and she frankly wants him to pay for her medical expenses and give her the money, obviously, that a pregnancy requires of you.
Yeah, now obviously a paternity test will be done once the baby is born. So right now, it's not confirmed that it's his
I'll tell you what, though, with people we're talking to, it doesn't seem that Carmelo is disputing that he had this relationship and that this baby is probably his.
Yeah, and Lala, she's upset.
For a man to do something like that, sometimes subconsciously that's his way of trying to get out of the current situation that he's in. All right, as sloppy and as silly as it sounds, in no way trying to validate any nonsense like that. But sometimes desperate people do dumb shit. And a lot of these guys today, there's a big time glorification of strippers in this society for whatever reason. They glorify strippers. They've been doing it especially for about the last 10 plus years or so. And not to go off on a tangent, but the stripper, so-called stripper, that comes from the glorification of the penis of Osiris. All right, that's what the pole represents. All right, that goes back to the also the worship of the Babylonian goddess Ishtar. She had maidens, and the maidens would dance around a pole, and the men would come and they would provide, they would give offerings to the dancers in the, for the cult of Ishtar, also known as Venus. All right, and they would provide offerings for the dancers there for Ishtar, and that's where you get the practice of men throwing singles at these women dancing around the pole representing the penis of Osiris. All right, that practice went up to the British Isles and what's known as the Maypole, right, where people dance around the pole. The pole once again represents the phallic member or the penis of Osiris.
Obviously, she went out in New York City today. She made a big statement. She was photographed without...
And I've never understood dudes throwing money at broads that's just there showing their ass. Like, you never seen ass and titties before? You gotta throw money at a broad that's just showing you her ass and the titties? I don't get that, man. Sorry.
Without her wedding ring on, we're told she hasn't worn the wedding ring since she moved out of the couple's home last week.
Who cares? But that just shows you guys, for you fools that get down on one knee to a woman, and even you brothers who in your ignorance give a ring to a female. A ring to a woman does not signify marriage, brothers. That doesn't signify anything. All that signifies is that you view her as the goddess Venus. Once again, the jewel of Venus was the diamond. The favorite flower of the goddess Venus was the rose. Right? That's why you give a woman roses. That's why you give her a diamond ring. When you so-called propose to her, you get down on one knee. She stands in as the goddess Venus. Okay? First thing that the female does when she gets fed up is take the ring off. Why is that? Because the ring is just an idol. It doesn't mean anything. That is not marriage. In this society, so-called marriage, you have to get a marriage license and get a contract, because that's you telling the state that you're giving the state authority over your relationship with the woman. All right. It's like a corporate merger. That's why you have to sign those documents. Right. The corporation of John Doe is going to merge with the corporation of Jane Doe, and we're going to become the Does. All right. That's why you have to get a contract to get quote unquote married and a contract to get so-called divorced. A divorce is nothing but a liquidation of two corporations. That's all it is. All right. Real marriage, like I said before, you're promised a virgin. You take that virgin's virginity. The contract is signed by you breaking through her hymen. Okay. All other races, particularly Aboriginal or indigenous races, understand that. But we live in a corporate society.
That's her, in my opinion, giving a stamp to our story and basically saying it's true. She went out there and made a very loud statement by not wearing the ring.
Yeah, so look, how are people reacting to this? We actually ran into Rudy Giuliani, of all people, in Los...
Rudy Giuliani, cross-dresser, transvestite, liar, racketeer, a Confederate in the 9/11 hoax. All right. Allegedly, so-called quote unquote New World Order knight. The Queen of England knighted him. Right. When you get knighted today, that is not like how it was in the Middle Ages. When you get knighted, that shows that you are in the service of Satan. OK, or Janus, as he's called in the Vatican. All right. That's what so-called Satan is called in the Vatican. Janus, Janus. All right. That's who so-called Rudy Giuliani is. His father was linked to the Gambino crime family. Okay. That's who Rudy Giuliani is. Now, Rudy Giuliani came to fame by bringing a prosecution against the top 5 crime families in New York. And all the crime families, they put a hit out on him. Or they wanted to put a hit out on them, but they didn't. The only crime family that wanted to was the Gambino crime family, which was led by John Gotti. All right. The reason why they wanted to put a hit out on Rudy Giuliani is because he most likely was working for them. Now, his father had ties to the Gambino crime family. All right. So-called Harold Giuliani, a.k.a. the Savage. All right. So all these people, man, they nothing but hucksters.
In Los Angeles,
Former mayor of New York City, one of the biggest New York sports fans you will ever meet.
That's right. So we asked him, number one, how does he feel about Phil Jackson saying that Carmelo is not welcome back? And number two, how should the fans who like Carmelo Anthony feel about him in the wake of these new allegations? And you're not going to believe what Rudy said. Take a look.
Should the Knicks keep Carmelo?
Oh, the Knicks should keep Carmelo.
Look at this guy, look like a damn rat.
Oh, he's a Knick. Once a Knick, always a Knick.
You think, even though...
What'd he say? Did he say once a Nick, always a Nick? Or did he say once a nig, always a nig?
No, he might have had an extramarital affair.
Well, I don't think you judge sports characters based on things like that. Otherwise, you'd probably lose half of them.
And that's fair. Because all these guys have multiple females, man. That's why I've never understood I don't understand why these guys sign contracts with these women. I don't get it. The only guy who handled it correctly was Jeter. All these guys run through women like toilet paper.
That's probably true.
He's saying if you got upset at every one of your sports heroes who cheats on his wife, you'd be upset at about half the sports heroes in America.
Once you sign that contract with that female, you enter into that, that agreement of so-called cheating. All right. Adultery really is when a man sleeps with another man's wife, or if a woman sleeps with a man other than her husband. All right. That's what adultery is. Adultery is not a man sleeping with another woman. It's when he sleeps with another man's wife. Okay. That's what adultery is, because a man is allowed to have more than one woman. Now, they've kind of taken that away because you have what's known as eugenics, and you also have the population control program. That's why they started under the Caucasian rulership to promote what they call monogamy, which is the reason why all of these women are so unhappy, because they're more worried about having a man all to themselves than fulfilling their role as a wife. Okay? That's why they're so caught up in it. You see, the people who stress monogamy the most, which are the Western women, those are the ones who have the most relationship problems.
This kind of blew my mind because when I first heard about the story, when we reported it, I was a little angry at Carmelo Anthony because I like Lala and I'm a Knicks fan, so I was a little...
Why are you mad at Carmelo Anthony because you don't know Lala? Acting like a bitch.
Upset with him, but then once Rudy said this, I thought about it. Look at guys like Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade. I mean, all these guys who are prominent NBA players, all guys who we have known who have had affairs.
All these guys have multiple children. Ali probably got about 40 kids that we don't know about. All right. Muhammad Ali used to sleep with 7 women at a time. When he was in Manila getting ready to fight Joe Frazier, he slept with 30 women, and he slept with every woman on the floor of his hotel room. Something like 30 women in one day.
Yeah, and by the way, people still love him. Kobe Bryant can't walk down the street of Los Angeles without people chanting him all the time.
One of the most beloved guys in Los Angeles.
And Muhammad Ali used to have sex parties with what's this guy's name? Hugh Hefner. Ali used to go to sex parties after all his fights and have big orgies.
Ever. Yeah, so look, here's the bottom line. Carmelo Anthony's actually really good friends with guys like Dwayne Wade. And
Are you saying it's something to do with that clique of friends?
I'm not saying it has something to do with this clique of friends. I'm saying maybe they can kind of counsel him through this. Those guys were able to save their marriages. It doesn't look like it's going to be that way for Carmelo here.
If I be a betting man, they'll end up coming back together, rectifying whatever problems they have. Right? Not necessarily because of love, but because this female Lala Anthony, unless she can find somebody with more visibility than Carmelo, she's going to go back to him because she needs him. She wants to be a star so bad, and she wants to be somebody who generates her own money so bad. She's going to find out really quickly how difficult it is for a so-called black actress to stay relevant without that strong backing. And she's not going to have it because she's not a great actress, number one. She's not even a good actress. And she also doesn't have any real connections in Hollywood. All right? So peace.